thanks for coming out for Fliptie's little party. We were determined to have this. We paid deposit to have a party in 2019, pre-COVID, and then COVID derailed us. My name is Aikoy Parks, and I am the founder and senior editor at Fliptie Publishing. That here is my posse. Keep the place running. We're going to have some short readings from a few of the writers who've had their books come out in this time of invisibility, and hopefully you'll enjoy it, because how many people have had the pleasure of being out for a literary reading recently? Not many. I know I haven't. Apart from my 6-year-old reading of my picture books, which I'm happy to kind of switch for tonight. So, thanks for coming, welcome. I think first we're going to have Sharmilla reading from this wonderful anthology. If you haven't got one with you, you need to get one, of writers who have encountered the phrase, "It's not quite right for us." And any writers will know. Sharmilla.
Hello, my name is Sharmilla Beezmohun, and I'm the editor of Not Quite Right for Us, an anthology of 40 authors who've written poetry, fiction and non-fiction. The anthology celebrates 10 years of speaking volumes, which I run with my friends Sarah Sanders and Nick Chapman. It has authors who we've worked with over the last 10 years, who are new and established, as well as authors that we'd like to work with over the next 10. We really hope you enjoy this wonderful selection of writing. The Raj Recreation Big Tent by Rishi Dastidar. Imagine an elephant wearing a top hat, except you don't have to imagine it, as that is exactly what is happening in the Raj Recreation Big Tent, arriving on a blasted village heath near you quite soon, in a secure, socially distanced manner, of course. I mean, who does not want to see an isosceles triangle that thinks it's a continent, but can't even manage to keep a dragon jaded? Instead, become all super streamlined at warp speed into a future in which it incarnates itself as progress maximized and then wraps it all in licenses and tops it with a taxing bow. Meanwhile, the audience in ones and ones, chunters and guffaws under Union Jack face masks, pausing only to wonder how a bloke wearing a cloth of salt had enough give to gab up the place, before stuffing some more coronation chicken into their India Pale Ale, and then, way! What's a black hole? A famine or two, a cricket test between friends. Odd how each of those started with the policy diktat. What happens when they're not quite right for us? This is the thing about making the world pink. You leave everything tender, scarred and flaking. Still, what a show, eh?
Hi, I am Laurie, and my pamphlet Humaning will be published on the 18th of November, and a launch will be on the 25th of November. Humaning is about womanhood, adolescence and the body. Hunger. I want to tell her that her lipstick is red. I want to tell her that her lipstick is red and that her lipstick is looking at me. I want to tell her that I believe that her lips are that red underneath the lipstick, and when she breathes out, it almost sits on my collarbone. She talks about a house she used to share with a girlfriend. I want to tell her that her lipstick is red and that I am glad she had, at one point at least, a girlfriend. She talks about the creative process, and I imagine her covered in paint and nothing else, just animal red, and I don't want to touch her. Just to watch her dance in acrylic, painting her heartbeat onto the outside of her body. Her friend asks her a question, and she puts wine to her lips. I think of red. I'm red. And she puts the wine glass down too fast, and I want to ask her how she holds her girlfriends, but she is talking about a husband, who she holds, I imagine, and children. And I hear what she meant by girlfriend, And I fight the urge to demand that she gives me her lipstick so I can eat it all in one go. Say, that was why I was looking. Cheeks red now. Red, red. Say, that was all I was hungry for.
Like someone could have like tried it, but
It's called Winter, a Biography. I'll admit I was raised in a red house by a woman with red hands on a bare hill, where birds walked on the ground and it was always winter and death did not exist. She never married. She knelt down on the ice. Her mouth red as an axe swung through the stomach of a cat. She held a handful of seeds. I buried them and expected nothing. Death did not exist. I couldn't read, but I nailed the book through its heart to a tree and waited. Spring's surrender flag rippled alabaster in the distance. Sharp sigh of horizon. Winter, a thin murmur of bone. You were there too, admit it. The brittle child of us riding the same song, witless and burning to the old bridge like a stolen car. Stars waterlogged and filthy in the river. Glossy, bloated nettles humming by the road. Every Saturday a man in a red coat measured the shape of our skulls. Every tree had someone to climb it with a dishcloth in their mouth, to wipe its shining branches leafless, black. I held the weight of snow in my arms like a sleeping animal. We drove unwatched across the border. Full-knuckled summer struck me speechless. Forgive me if I've been a stranger here. Once again it's winter, and you can sleep in my arms like snow.
I was like, it needs to be up now, and they did it, which is nice. But yeah,
I think we should get.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Hello. No pictures, please.
Hi, my name is Samata Ilmi, and I published Portrait of Colossus with Fliptie earlier this year. That's an Enterprise renter van. Shall I keep going?
Keep going.
Yeah, cool, alright. And I'm going to read a couple of poems from this collection and a poem from the next collection, whenever that comes out. The Invaders. John Townend, a former Conservative MP, said, "England must be reconquered for the English. They should go back from whence they came." The Invaders. I am parrot's feather, pennywort, water fern and primrose. I am the surus of grey squirrels in the branches by your windows. I carry crayfish plague through Fenland Wash and Highland Stream. My thick roots tear at the bedrock under Country Lane and Tower Block. I am a London gang of parakeet. The coipus close to you as skin. The sand that beds your cobbled streets. Things will never be the same again. And this poem is called Your Mother is in a Different Language. Ludwig Wittgenstein argued that the words of this language are to refer to what can be known only to the speaker, to his immediate private sensations, so another cannot understand the language. Your mother is in a different language. It didn't matter when she took her oath of burden, placenta and breast milk, her promise of patience and insomnia that she clung to for 7,000 nights of drifting in and out of sleeplessness. No one saw the nurse sever the umbilical cord, your first and last line of unbroken communication, tossed into a medical waste bin. The doctor muttering faint instructions in English for the nurse to rock you asleep with lullabies your mother couldn't understand. No one thought it odd that mother and son should bring a translator to parents' evening to bridge between their broken tongues. The swirling cacophony of Wahmhuleyahi and what's she on about, making it easier to just kiss her forehead in silence. How did you get here? 15 years of false starts sat together in a courtroom. An unbridgeable gulf, your mother shaping words like a prayer, except that Hoyo Mahad Samesi isn't a prayer. It's a question you can't answer in a language she understands. Etymologies. 1. Albion. Albion, as in Al-Bayun, the in-between, is all I hear when you scream at me from across the parapet. Bayun, you and I, this stitch of brown in turf is Albion, soaked and distending. And Bayun, the earth and the sky, rainbows that may or may not appear, Bayun, our faintly whispered losses. Albion, as in purgatory, or perhaps an oasis, or mirages in the sand, the cruelest state in limbo, to think for a moment that the in-between could be anything but Albion, could be anything but a home. 2. Goals. I think of concentric circles, Vercingetorix, a siege within a siege ad infinitum, until the distinctions between them, a Caesar and a chieftain, is reduced to shades between the echoes of the moth's failing wings. Gaul, somewhere about the guts, stomach for a fight that shouldn't be won, as in Gal, a foreigner in the land of her birth, as in bile, yellow belly, as in coward, the gall to run in circles, and the balls to settle down, settle here, in a vacuum, a hallowed, hollow promise that crept up and swallowed everything.
Alright, thank you all for listening. We didn't want to keep the readers long because we want more time to drink. We're just happy to be out. And I just want to thank my team over here. I started Fliptype Publishing by building other people's websites. I would build a website, charge for it, and publish a book. And I could have drunk with that money, but I'm drinking now. So it works out. And I think that it's funny, Samantha says, not quite right for us. I think we will always be in the margins because I'm a northern boy. I was born in Lincolnshire. I went to school in Manchester. And I published northern writers, I published black writers, I published queer writers, I published long hair writers, short hair writers, no hair writers, glasses writers, no glasses writers, half blind writers, deaf writers, not deaf writers, too loud writers, too quiet writers. All of them. And just because if I love something and I read it, I will publish it. I don't care who wrote it. And that's why I'm here. I was raised in a beautiful place called Ghana that you should always at some point where everybody is completely mad and covered in dust. And I think that gave me a certain appetite for the world that is, I hope, reflected in the books we publish and reflected in the people I work with. And I'm just really glad that there are readers for them. And yeah, thank you.